It's Ash from Super Videos, back for another video for Season 11 of The Walking Dead. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the photos that they officially released for the series finale of The Walking Dead, Season 11, Episode 24, which is called Rest in Peace. There's a lot of very interesting details in these photos that I do want to point out, but overall, I absolutely love these and it gets me super hyped for the series finale. So stay tuned, we'll be right back to break it down. Alright, as always, before we dive into it, smash the like button, subscribe to join our community, and press the bell to be notified when I upload on the channel. With that said, let's dive right into it. So the first thing I want to talk about is, let's point out the elephant in the room, the cliffhanger of the previous episode, what everyone wants to talk about, what happened to Judith, will she survive? And the answer is simple, she's going to survive because we see her in these photos. So first up, we have this photo of Daryl in some sort of a hospital or clinic. I'm assuming that this is at the Commonwealth, and I'm assuming that this is going to correspond to the scene of him in the trailer of the series finale, taking Judith and walking into a clinic and asking for help. And then we obviously have this picture of Judith, who is obviously injured. There's blood coming out of her mouth, and she has blood on her hands. But as you can see, she's doing good. She's okay. She's not gonna die, or it doesn't look like it. We see another shot of her here. Again, we see she's actually injured because there's blood on her hoodie, but she's most likely gonna survive. And then we have these pictures, which I'm assuming is also at the clinic. We obviously have Connie, Magna, Yumiko, and Kelly blocking off the entrance to some sort of a Commonwealth building, which again is probably the Commonwealth Clinic. And then we have this shot of Carol here, also in that same place. And obviously we see walkers on the other side with a glass separating the two sides. And obviously now the stakes are higher because they're not just dealing with regular walkers, they're dealing with variant walkers. So they have to pay attention to make sure that none of those walkers takes a stone or a rock and tries to break in. So in that aspect, this is going to be a little different than a normal situation or circumstance. And then we have these shots, which are obviously from before all of the stuff that we just looked at, but it's scenes that are directly corresponding to where the story actually ended in the previous episode, where we had the walkers surrounding the survivors, and we obviously saw everyone making room for Daryl to take Judith away so that she could be treated at the hospital or clinic at Commonwealth while everyone else deals with the walkers. So obviously we have Luke here, who showed up right at the end. We have Kelly, we have Gabriel in the background, we have Connie, I think, behind Kelly, and we have Ezekiel. And they're obviously shooting at the walkers and trying to make their way through. We see this cool shot of Connie killing this one walker. Now, one thing I want to mention, which some of you might have missed if you saw this picture, is if you look at these walkers, I think it's immediately clear which of them is a variant walker. You may be asking, how do I know? Or which one is it? I think if you look at the walkers, a lot of them are looking down, some of them are looking at Connie, but some of them are actually fixated on... I'm just kidding. There's no way to tell. Anyway, the next picture we have is in the same area, but we have obviously Diane and Maggie, and I think Kelly, and we have Eugene and Negan in the background as well. They're killing walkers, but when it comes to the variant walkers, in this one I actually think there is a way to tell, and it's not as clear. I'm just saying that it might be. The walker on the top left could be a variant walker because it looks like it's reaching to grab something. Maybe a stone, maybe something like that. Or maybe a knife, I don't know. I'm just guessing here. And when it comes to the variant walkers, there is no logic. They could do just about anything with them. That's why it's difficult to kind of predict what's going to happen when it comes to the variant walkers. But then we have this other picture in the same area of King Ezekiel in the background, Magna, Yumiko, Max, obviously Maggie, Princess, Carol, and Connie and Gabriel. And obviously we see there's a lot of walkers on the ground. Now, one thing that I noticed, which I think is a huge giveaway, and I hate it, that it's a giveaway that they just put it as an official picture, but it looks like Luke is on the ground in the background, and it looks like he's either injured or he's dead. So that's not good. I mean, I could be wrong, but that definitely looks like Luke. So let's see what happens with that. And then we have this shot of this walker eating someone, maybe Luke, maybe someone else, but obviously this is a cool shot of this walker. And then we have this shot of Kelly, Magna, Yumiko, and Ezekiel in that same place, killing walkers. And obviously in the background, I think that's Rosita and Carol also fighting off the walkers. And on the left, I think maybe Luke and Gabe. I could be wrong, but that's what it looks like. And obviously these are not in order. So if you're asking how is Luke fighting walkers here, well, these are not in order. And then we have this other shot of now Eugene and Gabe in some sort of a building. They're either fighting off walkers or Commonwealth soldiers. Now, I think this is going to connect directly with a scene that was in the trailer where we have Gabriel and Eugene screaming and trying to get Rosita to jump from one building to the other. I think this is in that same area or that same building. We have this shot of Gabe as well. And then we have Eugene here, obviously in a safe spot right now. And they're basically sitting around. And I think this is going to connect to something else that was in the trailer where Ezekiel was giving this long speech about it being worth it to fight for the Commonwealth. And then we have Max here and Diane in that same place, I think in the same scene with Ezekiel's speech. And then we have Carol here in the same area. And then we have these pretty interesting pictures. Negan and Maggie face to face. It looks like they're finally gonna have a heart-to-heart conversation. And it looks like maybe they're finally gonna go past hating each other, at least from Maggie's perspective, and working together, at least temporarily, until they deal with the situation that they find themselves in. And then we have this one of the two of them. It looks like Maggie's actually listening, and it looks like Maggie's actually interested to get Negan's perspective now. You know what I mean? So that's definitely cool to see. Now, this could be the beginning of the setup for the spin-off with the two of them, but it might not be. But assuming that some things that comes out of their conversation is gonna lead to why they leave and why they finally accept that they can work together. And then we have this picture of Negan. He looks pretty concerned here. So maybe something happened to his wife, Annie, or his unborn child. I'm not sure. I'm just making some wild predictions here. We know that that might be coming up. It's been rumored and there's been a lot of theories about that. So it's not a complete wild theory by any means. But still, I feel like we can't really say that. Certainly not by this picture, but it's something to think about. But then we have this picture of Maggie. I think this is when Maggie just walks down from where everyone was and he finds Negan, and I think this is what leads to her sitting down next to Negan and having a conversation with him. I could be wrong. Also, this could be after something happens to Annie, Negan's wife. So that's another possibility. And then we have this shot of Mercer in a jail cell waiting to be rescued. We know he will get rescued. That was also in the trailer. We see this shot of Carol, Daryl with a huge black eye, which is definitely interesting, and some Commonwealth soldiers. Now, the Commonwealth soldiers are pointing their guns not towards the survivors, but towards someone else. We can see more of them here. Now, who are they pointing their guns at? It could be the survivors here, but it could also be maybe Pamela. We do see Magna and Carol here in that same sort of area and some Commonwealth soldiers. And then we can see Yumiko, Connie, and Magna here as well. And then we see Yumiko again here. I don't know what she's doing, but it looks like maybe they're doing some setup to distract Commonwealth soldiers or some people that are siding with Pamela or something to that effect. But then we have this shot of Pamela. She looks pretty angry. So like I said before, maybe Commonwealth soldiers do turn on Pamela, and it's a situation where it's gonna be a mini battle that takes place between the two sides. I could be wrong, but that's just the way I see it going down right now. We see, again, Pamela's pretty angry, and then we see her here. I think she's listening to someone here. Maybe they're trying to make a deal with her, and I'm air quoting as I'm saying this. You can't see this, but I'm air quoting, and the reason for that is because I think it's a trap, and I think they're just buying time for Maggie to sniper rifle kill Pamela. I could be wrong, but that's just the setup that I'm seeing right now. And then we have this final picture. I didn't know where else to put this, so I'm just putting it at the end. We have a walker eating some lunch or dinner, but obviously it's pretty disgusting. Anyway, that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about in this video. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, smash the like button, subscribe to join our community, and press the bell to be notified when I upload on the channel. That's it for this video. See you next time for another super video.